Cohasset Common. I'm your host, Town Manager Chris Sr. Welcome to the program. Today, we go behind the scenes at Town Hall with two folks, our brand new communication and community engagement specialist, and our new HR director, who's actually an old familiar face. Let's go first to meet our new communication specialist, Kevin Perry. I'm excited to welcome our first guest today to Cohasset Common, Kevin Perry. Kevin's our new communications specialist. Welcome to Cohasset and to Cohasset Common.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So Kevin, tell us a little bit about you and how you came to come to Cohasset.
Yeah, so I went to school. I studied professional communications, by the way, at Fitchburg State University. After that, I had an internship with a hockey team down in Attleboro, the Northeast Generals, which then turned into working with them more. After that, I went back to school to pursue my master's degree, and in doing so, I left the Generals and took a position working with Sports Illustrated as an editor. As Sports Illustrated, unfortunately, didn't end. Sorry. Yeah. I'll go back. Sports Illustrated, unfortunately, filed for bankruptcy, and my position was gone. And then from there, right across the border from Hull, came over to beautiful Cohasset.
So it sounds like, since you spent time with the Attleboro Generals?
Northeast Generals, sorry.
You have a background in hockey. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I grew up playing hockey. My brothers played hockey. All my friends played hockey.
So you played hockey?
I played hockey, of course. Then hockey took me to Fitchburg State. Before that, I played for the Generals, which was how I was able to have an in there for my internship and my job. And then Fitchburg State, we played 3 years there. And then the COVID season, we only were allowed to practice. And then for my graduate year up there, I was a graduate assistant for the team as well.
Okay, so you coached and played.
Yes, it was very weird because a lot of the kids decided to come back and play who were in my class. So I was coaching them, and it was weird because one of the kids too was also my teammate in high school and in junior and at Fitchburg. So I've known him a while. It was a very interesting experience.
That's what happens when you get a little, you get a little older, a little more, you move up in the ranks there. So tell us, what got you interested in being in communications?
So originally, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do when I was going to Fitchburg, and I always had like an affinity for writing and video. I originally was a film and video major, and after taking one course there for professional communications as like an intro course, I talked to my advisor, I switched over to professional communications, and I was a big fan of it from there.
So tell me, in Fitchburg, what does that encompass, professional communications?
So it's everything from journalism to marketing and PR to professional writing to, if you wanted to do so, education. So it's kind of a
it's broad.
Very broad. So when you get into the program, you kind of pick which direction you want to go, and that's how they pick your course load.
So what was your kind of niche, you would say, in the professional communications?
Writing was definitely my big strong suit. I enjoyed writing. I took multiple writing classes there, creative writing, script writing, a lot of writing for marketing, writing for advertising. And so I naturally have always been geared towards writing. So that's pretty much that.
It's almost a lost art these days too. So
yeah.
But obviously you enjoy it, and we actually like the work that you did. Hence you're sitting across from me right now. This is an age where like everyone's into video, right? I mean, people's attention spans are short. How do you find? You've done a little bit. You said you've done some marketing work with the hockey team. You've done some work with a major publication. How do you think the best way to get to people these days is? How do you communicate? I mean, how do you communicate with people today?
I think the best way to get to people is to have, in writing's term, a catchy headline, grab the audience, bring them in, let them know what your message is, inform them of what the message is, and then hopefully they take something from it, develop an opinion, and can think independently in themselves.
So it's more the message than the medium itself.
That's actually correct. That's one of the books I got many of my tools from at school was called The Message in the Medium.
Because obviously the mediums have changed.
Yeah.
It's funny, so even podcasts, we don't really do a town podcast. podcasts are functionally radio shows that
Yeah.
are just recorded. I mean, so it sounds cool and modern, but it's perhaps the oldest thing going. People having a conversation, right?
Yeah.
That is the most ultimate. People sitting around the campfire. Many years ago, that's what people did, and now they're sitting around a recording device,
Yep.
putting it on the internet.
Yep.
So, tell us about your initial experiences here. So, what are you finding about the job and Cohasset? You kind of jump right in with town meeting season. Tell us about your first experience.
Yeah, it's kind of been a whirlwind. I got my feet wet a few weeks ago at the town forum. I got to see how those operated. Obviously, as someone who's new to municipal government, I'm kind of just learning on the fly, but I think I'm doing a good job of it. A lot of work with the town website, work with the select board, work with just getting information out to the public, learning about how information has to be distributed when working in a municipal government. So it's been interesting past 8 weeks now, I'd say.
Time flies. Right?
I know.
So, what's the most fun so far?
The most fun, wow. There's so many fun things working in municipal government.
Well, I'll tell you what. So you've worked on a couple of projects. What's been the thing that's been so far that's been I mean, you're gonna have a lot of cool things as you go. So tell us about something you've done in the last couple of months that was like, hey, this is kind of fun.
So a few weeks ago with the assistant town manager, Michelle Leary, we've been working very closely together on recreation projects that are going on in town. So one of the things we recently did was the Beechwood Playground Visioning session with the kids here at the library and with Cohasset Recreation, where we gave them kind of arts and crafts tools and a template and to design their own playground, which was very interesting because it's almost rewarding to see that people care about, and especially kids, because the parents aren't playing. I'm not going to play there. The kids are, so you better asking them what they want.
This is also expanding a little bit of your job. You're not just about communicating, your community engagement. That's part of the job.
Yeah.
And you're engaging our actually youngest residents,
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
Yes.
I saw some of the work. In fact, people want to see it. I understand they can go to the website and see some of those projects.
Yeah, so on the select board's page, you can go over on the left side of the tab that says there's one for town hall updates, one for capital project updates, and then recreation updates. And the recreation one's been the one most utilized so far because those are the ones that have started first. So we did a video with the geotechnical drilling that happened at Milliken Field, and then now we're moving into the Beechwood Playground.
Okay, well, fun. So these are the projects that are actually getting going, and I think the plan is to get regular updates to the public, written, perhaps some videos, so people understand what's going on.
Yeah, we would think as many videos as possible so we can show almost a before and after aspect, because that's probably the best way that you can see the full scope of things. But videos on us as they're going on in the process too, when they're taking out the playground equipment, or last week at Milliken tennis courts when they were drilling. Just what's going on, the action a bit.
So you've really, as you said, you kind of jumped in. Actually, it's actually the day as we filmed today, it's actually quite wet. So you actually we're literally getting our feet wet. But there's a lot to go on here. We have a lot of projects, and one of the things we've been able to build up is this really engagement with the public. So so what do you think? What are the next things you're going to be working on? Do you think?
We'll be moving forward as town meeting comes up with the different decisions that can go on with town hall and supporting all the avenues that can go, creating materials so people can be informed. That's the big thing. The recreation projects, as I stated, the capital projects, sidewalks and roads when they're being paved and stuff, getting information from Brian Joyce about that stuff when it's happening so I can get down there and let the people know what's going on, put it on the website. I can make some graphics for people. So
the plan is to get information, get it up there in digestible format across multiple mediums, with the message being consistent, and letting people know what's going on.
Yeah, that's pretty much that.
So let me turn back a little bit into Kevin Perry as opposed to Kevin Perry, the communication and community engagement specialist. When did you first get interested in communications as kind of a medium? Was it something you started out as a kid that you were like, this is kind of cool? Did you do videos? Or?
Yeah, I always have been big into making like home videos, as you call them, stuff for YouTube. I enjoyed in high school, my senior year, I took a class at Hull High School, a TV production class. We, in lieu of taking tests and quizzes and having schoolwork, we all thought it'd be a better idea if we produced a TV show which aired on probably, I don't know, over the course of 12 weeks in the springtime, every Saturday. And it was called the Kevin and Joe Show, the Flow Show, where we just talked about sports and stuff.
So, good time, and did you? I'm assuming you learned a lot and had a good time.
Yeah, I had an excellent time. It really kind of created that fire for me to kind of expand on what I enjoyed with, and created that avenue for me to pursue.
And that led you to Fitchburg in the communications program.
Yes.
Okay. So what was the? Would you say it was your most fun time at Fitchburg? Was it the internship with the Generals? Or?
With the Generals, that was very interesting, just because it was trying to balance almost like a work-life relationship at this time then.
And Fitchburg and Alba are not exactly next door to each other.
No, it was a nice ride, because it was about an hour and a half to Attleboro, an hour and a half back to Hull, and an hour and a half back to Fitchburg. So it was a nice little triangle where, well, if I had to come home for a day, I got to go to work, and then a lot of interesting things went on there. I learned about more of the business side of the hockey team, as opposed to when I was there. When I was younger, it was more
you were playing.
The playing side, but I dealt more with the player development people, the coaches, not so much the off-ice support staff that really kind of makes everything go.
So you actually got kind of a behind-the-scenes look, and you did marketing with them, right?
Yeah, so I did a lot of marketing, similar to stuff I did here, website work, videos, website updates. We would do like a weekly synopsis of what went on with the 4 teams that were there at the time. Now they've expanded to, I don't know how many over the past 5 years.
Wow.
But now, videos. I would do game day engagement with the fans, game day preparation where...
Did you have to be the mascot? Did you get to be the mascot?
No, unfortunately, I did not get to throw on the mascot uniform, but I got to learn a lot of stuff while I was there.
Okay. Which, again, sounds like a great foundation. You were actually doing. You were actually in there producing, which builds your experience and your engagement with that.
Yeah.
So, what would you say you took most away from all of this? I mean, obviously you love this profession, which is the reason you're sitting here, and we're excited to have you here. What excites you about it the most? What is it that really says, "Hey, I love to be in this field"?
As someone I would consider myself outgoing. I enjoy talking and communicating with people, creating relationships, building on those relationships. So it's kind of fostering my creativity ideas and my personality, where I can put them together and create informing content for people to view that also, not informing, engaging content that also informs. So that's kind of my big thought process.
And we're excited to have you do that here in Cohasset. So welcome, Kevin, again to Cohasset. We're excited to see where you're going to be going and the cool things you'll be doing for us. And any final words for the community?
It's been a pleasure being here so far, and I look forward to meeting many great people. I've met so many great people so far, and just all the opportunities that are going to come up on the horizon.
Kevin Perry, the new Cohasset Communication and Community Engagement Specialist. Welcome to Cohasset.
Thank you.
And now let's meet our new HR Director, who's an old familiar face, former town librarian, Meaghan James. Welcome to Cohasset, Meaghan James.
Oh, thank you, Chris. Thanks for having me today on your show.
It's the town show.
The town show. You host it.
I'm just hosting today. So,
okay.
So you've been with the town for a little while, actually. So tell us about. I mean, because this is actually your second go round, right?
Sure. Yeah. So I started in Cohasset for a brief amount of time in 2012 while I was getting my master's in library science. I was here part-time at the library as the reference librarian. I did nights and weekends. And I did that for a short time. And I left for a little while to go off to a new position. And I came back about 5 years ago as the library director.
And we were very excited to recruit you back.
Thank you.
The library had you've done some really cool things over at the library too in the last 5 years.
Sure, thank you. Yeah, we launched our story walk, which was really exciting. I believe we did an episode on that, so
we did.
You could circle back to that and take a peek. We've also really updated some of the programming that we have there to ensure that we're extremely inclusive and that we're inviting folks of all ages to come to the library. We especially love our children's programming with the kids coming in throughout the week, laughing, giggling, stomping, all the good things that we like to hear in the library. So we've done that. We've updated some of our spaces at the library and our furniture. So I had a really nice journey there.
And actually, it sounds like all of those things you're doing, diversity, laughing, stomping, new, really makes it for a perfect transition. So just a month ago, is it now? 2 months ago? Yeah. You were named the new Director of Human Resources and Community Services for the town of Cohasset.
Yes, yeah. So I'm really enjoying my new role. HR is something that I'm really passionate about. It's so important to ensure that the team here feels that we're supporting them and that we're providing guidance, that we have systems and processes in place that we all trust and buy into. And we're working on an employee barbecue, which is going to be great. We have an ice cream truck coming. So, all of these little things are so important to make sure that our staff is not only happy, but working at their highest level too.
So one of the things that you're carrying with you, having done a lot of team building, obviously, with your work in the library, both here and in your prior world, is really it's treating people as individuals,
yes,
as team members, helping them grow, and the goal of HR, at least in the modern sense, really is to help people be the best they can be. I mean, if I want to put it in a phrase.
Absolutely, we want people. A job's a job. However, we want people to be as happy as possible here, working for the town of Cohasset, and they are, and we want to continue that trend and make sure that people feel welcomed, that their ideas feel welcomed, that, at times, we all make mistakes, that those happen sometimes too, and that we support those, and how do we move on from that, and just make it a space that allows innovation and you to be yourself and provide support for that.
So I understand that you actually have some experience. Obviously, as the librarian, you took part in negotiations for the contract. And you also, worked on, work conditions and hours and all of those things.
Yes.
But you also have experience as a resident of your own town.
Yes. So currently I'm on the Personnel Committee in Norwell, and I have been for a couple of years. I also came from a town that didn't have an HR department. So all of us department heads were trained to do our own HR. So it was a little bit of a boot camp there, but very valuable skills that I was able to bring here, which is great.
So what would you say is again, it sounds like employee-centric is clearly where we are.
Yes.
So what would you say the biggest, your biggest focus is going to be as you start this role?
My focus right now is building trust with the other employees and making sure that they understand that I am here for them 100%, and that we're going to work together to continue to make this a great place to work. Working at the library was fantastic, that I got to work with all the community services departments, but I didn't get to know the employees at Town Hall as well. So I'm working on that.
And police and fire and public works.
And fire and all those other departments, and just making sure that I have a great relationship with those departments so that we can continue to move forward as a team.
So one of the things that we've done with this role is we've kind of expanded it up a little bit. We've been doing this, and I think this is now more formalizing it, because the human resources we have in Cohasset are not strictly the processes and procedures and all of that, right? So it's a broader sense, and it's also engaging the public, and it's also making sure that our particularly front-facing departments are very engaged. So you're going to be doing kind of a dual-headed role, I guess, right? You're going to be doing HR and what you were doing with community services.
Yeah, so as the community services director, I make sure that all of our community services departments are working together on programs so that we're not duplicating services, and also that they're provided support with some of their hopes and dreams that they're working on as well. And so that... And
what are those departments?
Oh, so we have Elder Affairs, we have the library, Recreation, Safe Harbor, and Veterans. And all of those departments, we meet monthly and just discuss all the things that we want to work on and how we're updating our services and how we can do that together and support each other. And so a lot of that comes into play here as well. And with the departments, fire, police, town hall, and DPW, it's the same type of coaching and collaboration.
So in terms of that particular focus on community services, can you give me an example or so of things where you've kind of brought those departments together? Because when I first got here, everything was very siloed. I mean, people were doing their jobs, but they were doing it here and here and here. And one of the things that I've helped prioritize, well, again, with the full support of the boards and the community, is to kind of think more a little holistically, because we're small and we do better working together. And we're also serving the same people, maybe in different ways, but we're still serving the same constituents. So I know you've done some interesting things, and why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I think the first and foremost is space. We have a battle with space throughout town for offices and all different things, and our program specifically in community services. So one of the first kind of walls that were torn down was using the different buildings for different things. So for example, we have story time in the recreation room because it's a nice space, it's big enough, things like that. So we kind of book each other's rooms and we kind of pass programs in between some of the departments to fit as many things as we can. So that was the first thing that we did. But we also have, like recently we had an intergenerational program at Elder Affairs where we had some of our local teenagers come and play cornhole with some of our senior citizens. That was a collaboration with Elder Affairs and Safe Harbor. We've created some larger programs at the library. We had indoor mini golf. Safe Harbor was very active in helping us with that, and Recreation helped with our marketing. That's one thing that we've worked on a lot together is marketing, because we like to share. Some of us have different demographics that we're focused on, so it's important that we all kind of share everything that we're all working on so that we can get to as many people in Cohasset as possible.
And I get you've also done some interesting programs with the library, obviously, across the generational lines.
Yes. We've done a really fun, we do our summer reading program,
right,
which I think is one of the biggest ones. And so it's focused on children. However, we get our young children, but we also get our elementary school students, our middle school students, and our high school students, but also we get grandparents bringing those students to those programs as well. So I think we see the most intergenerational programs specifically at the library kind of during the summer when it's all hands on deck taking care of our youth and while they're out of school.
Now, one of the things that I found kind of interesting as I've gone to the library, obviously, one of the things that I've heard the phrase used is the library of things. It's not the library of books anymore. Yeah. So explain what that means.
Yeah, so the library has a really unique collection of things that you can check out. We have anything from a shredder that you can bring home for 2 weeks. You can take home, we have a blow-up outdoor movie screen that you can take out that comes with a projector. We have a tool where you can measure the electricity that you're using in your house. So we have a plethora of different items that maybe you wouldn't want to purchase, but you just need for a short amount of time.
Now, I understand one of the more interesting regular borrows is a basketball.
This is a basketball. So after school, we are very excited and proud to have a whole slew of middle school and high school kids come and join us at the library. And so they'll start at the library, homework. So we have snacks available at the library. They'll have a snack, they'll do their homework, and then they travel out to the basketball courts outside of Recreation. So we have basketballs that you can check out of the library so that you can go use them. You don't have to bring one to school. We also have lawn games. We have giant Jenga that you can check out. So a lot of times in the nice weather, you'll see the kids come over, have a snack at the library, maybe play some video games or do some homework, and then they're heading out to do their lawn games and basketball.
Wow. I mean, I think I'm gonna. I wish now if we did that with employees, I don't know if it would. I think we'd have too many people outside during the extended lunch breaks. But, but so one of the things that I know that we've prioritized, and you're taking continuing on this trend is. We do a great employee recognition event. So the town really never did that before. And we started to do that about 7 years ago. And it was just saying thank you to people who've served the town in 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. And it's really become a very successful event. And we've also expanded that now to recognize board and committee service, and we've done
Yes.
that for the last couple of years. So I know that's all part of your focus too, is making sure that we have outreach to all of our human resources.
Yes, absolutely. And I want to, increase some of the programmings that we're doing surrounding, make it a little bit more fun, add as many people as possible. Our boards and committees are so important, and their commitment to the town is incredibly important. So supporting and encouraging them too certainly falls under my umbrella.
So, you have 2 young kids. I know they were very excited that you were the librarian. So, so it's been a little bit of a change, I guess.
Yes. Yeah, describing to them what an HR director does is a little bit different. So they still have access to the library, so that makes them happy. However, just explaining to them that I'm here to support and encourage and cheerlead for our team doesn't involve books or a magician, so maybe not quite as exciting.
It's not quite as cool for the. It's good for us. It's good for us. So, anything else that you want to share about your new role?
Just how excited I am. This is an incredible opportunity. I see so many things that we can do together and really make this a very active department and create some procedures, which is the boring stuff, but also just do some really fun, engaging things with our teams.
I think it's exciting. So, Meaghan James, our new HR director, our seasoned librarian, who, welcome to the new role, and thank you for all you do for Cohasset.
Thank you very much.
Thank you to both Kevin and Meaghan for joining us on this edition of Cohasset Common. I'm your host, Chris Senior. Thanks for joining us. See you on the Common.